The usefulness of focal points.
We will be discussing ray tracing, how glasses work to help you see, and how the Archimedes Death Ray works.
Or doesn't.
This program brought to you by the Vector V. Velocity. It keeps you going.
First, we'll review ray tracing. Here we have our object. It is outside the center of curvature. We draw a line parallel to the principal axis, and then one going through the focal point. Both lines will hit the mirror. Because this is a concave mirror, we will extend our lines from the one that was parallel to the principal axis through the focal point, and the one through the focal point parallel to the principal axis. Notice that our lines cross between the center of curvature and the focal. Where these two lines meet is the image top of object. It's where the top of our image of our object is going to be. Using our image top of object, we draw our image in. Notice how our image is smaller and the inverse of our object. This is an example of ray tracing from when our object is right at our center of curvature. We still draw our lines like we normally do, but notice where it ends up. Our image is at the same place as where our object is, and it's the same size, but just the inverse of it. This ray tracing is when our object is in between the center of curvature and the focal point. We draw our lines like we normally do, and our image is outside the center of curvature, and it is bigger than the object. It is also the inverse of the object. This case is a little bit different than the other ones. It's when our object is in between our focal and our mirror. We draw our lines like we normally do, where the line that goes through the focal hits the top of the object and then hits the mirror. And the line is parallel to the principal axis. Now we continue our lines from the one that is parallel to the principal axis through the focal, and the one that went through the focal make it parallel to the principal axis. We continue those lines back through the back of the mirror, and where those lines hit is the image top of object of our virtual image. And that's our review of ray tracing.
Okay, now we will discuss how light is focused in an eye. Light comes in through the cornea, which is the outside part of the eye here. It is then focused it goes through the pupil, and it is focused by the lens, which is convex. It hits the retina, and it is focused on the retina. After it's focused on the retina, the cells of the retina send it to the optic nerve, which leads to the brain. Once the light pulses go to the brain, it is interpreted as information so that you can see the image. This is an example of an eye that is nearsighted or has myopia. This is when you cannot see an object that is far away, but you can see an object that is near. That is because the focal point is in front of the retina. The object is focused before it gets to the retina, so you cannot see the object quite as well.